So Michael Hichborn, Lepanto Institute, all of you know very, very well. What brings you out here? And you've come from not too far. How far?
I drove 4.5 hours because of DC traffic.
So what do you make of what happened today, and what do you make of the situation with Bishop Strickland?
Well, I'm here to pray with Bishop Strickland because I think that what happened to him was there is a very small precedent for the removal of a bishop without any canonical process. But the problem is that Pope Francis superseded all canonical norms in order to remove him. There are only 4 ways by which a bishop is removed from his office. One is the death of the bishop, or he is transferred to another diocese, or he resigns. But the 4th way by which a bishop is removed is what's called privation. And privation is a punishment for an ecclesiastical crime. But Bishop Strickland has not been charged, he's not been accused, and he's not been found guilty of any canonical crimes. He's just been punished without due process. And that's why on Twitter I actually said the morning that I found out that Pope Francis acted like a Soviet-era dictator.
Yeah, and that got picked up. I think it's when I last checked, it was at 2.9 million views, that tweet. That's quite interesting. You've reported for years on the infidelity of the bishops conference, particularly particularly pro-abortion ventures, funding anti-life, anti-family ventures, supporting homosexuality. Even back in the day when you were with American Life League before, about the scandal of the U.S. bishops giving Holy Communion to pro-abortion politicians. They are running a Eucharistic Congress next year. Tell me about what you think of the fact that they want to run a Eucharistic Congress in light of the fact that they are still giving Holy Communion to pro-abortion politicians.
Well, that really is kind of a huge problem. It's not just the pro-abortion politicians, but they're now talking about giving communion to divorced and remarried Catholics. They're talking about giving communion to active homosexual couples, which is a huge scandal, but it also endangers the souls that are approaching for communion. So when they're talking about a Eucharistic revival, it seems to me more what they're talking about is expanding those to whom communion can be given, which is it's a massive scandal, and it's going to have the opposite effect. When you have that much sacrilege being committed on a mass scale, it can only bring about the wrath of God, and I very much fear for what's going to happen because of it.
You're standing here holding a relic of Pope Pius X. Tell us about that. Why do you have it, and what does Pope Pius X mean to you?
Pope St. Pius X is the Pope of the modernist errors. So he wrote the errors about the errors of modernism, which is the prime error that is facing the church today. So I brought Pope St. Pius X with me because I figured that if anybody really understands what's going on now because of those errors, it would be Bishop Strickland. And I thought it would be very special if he blessed us all with this relic, and he did, and it was marvelous.